Welcome to round 3 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of April 17th. I'm Terry Morrow, and I'm here with Catherine Holeko.
Hello.
And Nicole Eridix.
Hi there.
We're moms of teens and young adults and adults, and when it comes to parenting, we've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. But we're still waiting for that day when we'll reach the finish line and have no further need to lay down in a dark room with a wet rag over our eyes, worrying about something or other. Wednesday is Complaint Day here on Parenting Roundabout, and today we are complaining about kids having their own timetable. Catherine, how's it going with your son and his timetable? My kid who doesn't drive just turned 30, and he's still looking at the book and thinking about taking a test. Are you having better luck?
Yes, we are. We have some good news on this front. So way back in the dark days of 2020, in the summer of 2020, my son was 15, and so he was at the age when he could be starting driver's ed. And it was 2020, so I signed him up to do it online because I thought that was my only option. And he did some of it, and then he heard from a friend that the friend was doing it in person.
Oh.
And that was the end of him doing it online. Because he already was, really hating anything having to do with online learning because of COVID. So I got his access extended. I made him pay. They charged me like $50. I charged him $50 to, expand access to this thing. He still wouldn't do it. So we let it go for a while. We kept on. Yeah. It seemed like if he went back to it at some point, he could do it. So that went on for like a year, I want to say. And also he just didn't have a lot of time in his schedule to do it in person once they finally started offering it in earnest in person. So then finally in, I think January of 2022, maybe, I signed him up to do it in person after school. He had to miss one because of a school, like an academic commitment. Then he had to miss a second one because he was not feeling well. I took him out of school and I took him to get a COVID test. This was January 2022. There was like a Delta or one of those spikes was happening, right? So I took him home from school and I'm like, okay, we'll get him a rapid test and, we'll find out it's not COVID and then he can go back to school. Took the test. After the test, find out it's not a rapid test. It's a 3-day test. So then he couldn't go back to school. And so he had to miss his driver's ed. And his teacher was like, well, don't come back because you can't pass. And I sent a sternly worded email to the Department of Motor Vehicles and said, this is ridiculous. This is a pandemic. I cannot send a sick child to school, to class. But no, they were like, that's the rule. But meanwhile, at the same time, you could get your kid a driver's license without them taking a road test because of COVID. But yet, if he misses one day of the class, then he's out. Anyway, then at some point we finally decided, well, when he turns 18, he can take the test without having taken the class. And by this time, he's already taken half the class, 3 times.
Yeah.
So we just let it drop. And then quite soon after he turned 18, I didn't say anything. I was like, I'm not saying a word. I'm not saying a word. I'm not saying a word. And so finally he did. He came to me a few days after and he said, okay, like tomorrow, can we go to the DMV? And I'm like, are you ready? And he said, yep, I'm ready. And we got him an appointment. He took the test. He passed the test.
Wow.
Yay. And he wanted to drive home from the DMV. My husband was like, we're not going on the highway, but we can drive in this parking lot for a little while, and then I'll do the highway part, and then I'll let you do some more in the in-town part. And ever since then, every day he wants to drive. He wants to practice.
Wow.
He's on it. So, but I mean, 3 years it took. And the whole time my husband was like, oh my God, when is he going to drive? He needs to learn how to drive. He needs to get himself his own rides because he's, inconveniencing us. Yeah. Anyway, now he wants to drive all the time. He also wants me to sign him out of class. He's like, text me, I'm doing well in my math class. Can you sign me out so we can practice driving? I'm like,
oh, no.
No, I can't.
Oh, dear. The can you sign me out conversations.
Yeah, and also since he turned 18, he brought home a form from school that was like, he can sign himself out, but I would have to agree to it. And I'm like, I don't think so.
No.
Wow.
Or you can go to college. You have to graduate high school, friend. So
yeah, exactly.
Maybe go to class.
So, but yeah, I mean, it was so hard, not pushing it. It was a lot harder for my husband than it was for me. I was like, I'm not because I could tell that it was not going to work. Pushing him to do it was absolutely not working,
right?
And would never work. So we needed to just drop it.
Right.
And when we did, it worked.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So
that is my lesson. Yeah.
It's like, I feel there's things that would not work for, though.
But it's also you hear it for things like potty training or, giving up the pacifier or whatever else. I mean, and I agree, it's not for everything and it's not for every kid, but for certain kids, there's just no way.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Right. I got so much grief with my son on potty training that he was late with it. Yeah. And people were telling me I was infantilizing him by not, forcing him in various ways to do this. And it's like, when he's ready, he'll do it. And when he was ready, it took one day. Mm-hmm. And so I know there's other things. I keep saying it's going to be that way with the driving, that when he's ready, he will get it done. And that the fact that he hasn't gotten it done means he's not ready. And I certainly hope that's the case. Every now and then he just gets it in his head and he keeps asking about it and he keeps asking about it and he keeps asking about it. And it's like, you have to show me you can take charge of this process.
Right.
Before I will feel like you can do it. Mm-hmm. This is not, why don't you or Dad get the book and come sit down with me and tell me to look at it? It's like, no. You get the book, you come to one of us and ask it to do with you. You have to be in charge. And he's just not getting that transition, that difference. It's like, why won't you help me? We're happy to help you. You need to be in charge of the situation.
Right.
And that's not happening yet. So I keep saying he's just not ready.
Right.
It's like, it's such a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
And, and then sometimes he wants to do things and he keeps asking about them because he wants me to say no. And it's hard to know which things are those and which things are the other.
Yep.
So I enjoy driving him. It's fine. We're fine. Everything is fine.
Right. I quite honestly, when obviously I'm still driving him because he doesn't have he has this, learner's permit, but he can't drive himself anywhere at this time. And then I know that he's going where he needs to go at the time he needs to go there.
Yes. That's true.
So that part is, still helpful, even though there are days when I make many trips back and forth to the high school.
Yeah. It's like you relinquish control in so many ways when they're able to drive.
Right.
But, and having my daughter able to drive has been just a blessing because she does a lot of errands and she does a lot of things. It's more than just not having to take her places.
Right.
She picks up some of the family load.
Yeah.
Transporting her brother, sometimes driving me places if I don't want to drive, picking up stuff at the store. She does a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know what other everything my kids have done have been on their own timetable.
Right.
And that has been my constant battle with people who have a schedule to keep.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like my son just had his confirmation.
Right.
On Easter Saturday at the age of 30.
Oh.
Made it finally. Got him there.
Yay.
Yeah.
Congrats.
That was exciting.
And it was on the timetable that worked for you and him and everyone involved.
And the church.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's just hard waiting it out.
Yeah. In so many ways, I'm so glad that my son is almost done with high school.
Oh, yes.
Whoa. Can I not wait?
Yes, indeed.
But, at the same time, it's like, I feel like we both kind of missed out on some stuff when we were just trying to get through the days. And, and it was because there was a timetable. You have to take these classes at this time because you need them to graduate, and you have to do everything in this order and in this way, and it didn't necessarily work for him, but there weren't really a lot of choices.
Right.
So luckily
it's frustrating.
I would say, the guidance counselor did help in some ways by okay, well, he took this class, he really probably should have been taking it his senior year, but he took it his junior year. We'll make it work, things like that. But I don't know. I feel like we both have regrets. Let's just say,
right?
Yeah.
And some of that had to do with having to be on other people's timetable,
right?
So
yeah, right. Arguing against the standard timetable.
Yeah.
Is really difficult.
Yeah.
And you get hit with, why are you holding them back? Why, they'll never do anything if you don't challenge them. This is the way we do it. If they can't keep up, then maybe they need to be on this, completely alternative track where we don't care what they do.
Right.
And
right.
So just sometimes just a little more time.
Right. Just a little flexibility.
Maybe there's something else that they could do early.
Yeah.
Did you ever think of that?
Right.
So it's just been an ongoing frustration, and I'm trying to be calm now that it's mostly just me worrying about these things. I'm trying to be calm about it, like I wished other people had been calm about it. But but it is sort of hard sometimes to do that.
And certainly with my kid, it's his own timetable, and it's his own just I don't know how to. It's not just time to, but certain classes that I've been let's take the easy one. There's no need to take AP psychology when you could take regular psychology.
Yes.
And then he freaks out. It's no, I'm taking AP. And guess what? He's doing great in it. I don't know.
There's no rhyme or reason.
No. Yes, exactly.
I was like that too. I always had to do the hardest thing and the most advanced and the most ahead of the timetable stuff. I was motivated. When I was a freshman in college, I took a class that was for juniors and seniors. And I was a freshman just starting. It was the first quarter. And they were like, that's not really for you, dear. And I'm like, oh, I can do it. I can do anything. Coming fresh out of high school, feeling pretty good about myself.
Right.
And I don't think I failed, but I think I got a Mercy D and a pat on the head.
Right.
Welcome to college, honey. Maybe go back to those freshman classes
At
now.
least they let you try.
I know, they let me try. I think out of amusement to see how
let's
badly
see how
I would
this
crash
goes.
and burn. She thinks she's so hot. Oh, well.
You were on Terry's timetable.
Yeah.
It looked interesting. It looked more interesting than the freshman classes.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, I've definitely seen that with my kid too. And like I said, he insisted on taking AP psychology, and he's doing well.
Right.
They have to take personal financial literacy, and we tried for him to take it over the summer to get it over with, because it was one of those, like, he needs it to graduate. Let's just get it over with. And he agreed to do that.
Yeah.
And then he did not do it. So now he has to take it again, and he's taking the harder version. He's taking the one that incorporates economics in addition to personal.
Yikes.
And of course, he's doing fine. So, like,
well, maybe he knows his timetable better than you do.
I guess so.
Good for him that he's doing good.
I mean, he says he is. Like,
Uh-oh.
I think he is.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's great that they're teaching that and that they're making that a requirement, because it's certainly a needed thing.
Yes.
But I know when my son was taking that class, it was like, this is not being taught in a way that is accessible for all learners.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
So, anyway, that's the saga of the driving. And also, it turns out when you don't get your permit until you're already 18,
Yeah.
you don't have to wait 6 months to take the test. Ooh. You could take it in 7 days.
Wow.
Yep.
Which is not going to happen in our case, but I did think that was interesting. Because when he took the test, I thought, oh gosh, 6 months from now, he's already going to be in college. Like, is he going to have to wait and, like, come back? And
right.
But
how's that all going to work?
No, he can take it as soon as he is ready. We're still going to get him some professional instruction.
Yeah. And you're going, oh, that's great. You can do it so quick. And you're like, oh my God, you could do that so quick.
Yeah, no. I'm not prepared. I'm still, I told him he has to have some professional classes I told him it was for insurance reasons. It's mostly because I do not want to be in the passenger seat the first time he goes on the highway. No, thank you.
You need somebody who has the car with the brakes on the passenger side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found a place for my son to take his driver's, class, actual driving classes. It's a place that works with kids with autism. And so it would be perfect for him. But I need that for the written test also, and that I have not been able to locate, because the written test is a problem. He tried it once and he failed, and he keeps wanting to do it, but he doesn't, he'll sit down and look at the book for a little while. He keeps asking us to look at the book with him, but what he wants is us to, flip open the top of his head and stuff all the facts in so he doesn't have to deal with it.
Right.
And
don't blame him.
Wouldn't that be fun if that was possible?
Yeah.
I would like that too. I'd do some rewiring while I was in there. But as it is, there's just really nothing to it but to study.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. You got to study. So for a long time, I was putting him off by saying, hey, you know what? When you turn 30, that would be a good time. How about if we say when you turn 30, we'll do it? And now he just turned 30.
Now he turned 30.
40. 40 sounds good. He'll be super mature by then. Or you could just continue to get rides from everybody else, and that would be A-okay. You have not reached my timetable yet for driving.
That's right. We have reached the timetable for the end of today's round 3.
Tune in tomorrow when we'll obsess about mother-daughter conversations, and then on Friday to see what we've come up with for our Roundabout picks for this week. Find all our episodes at parentingroundabout.com and talk back in the comments there, on our Facebook page, or on Twitter, where you will find us at Roundabout Chat.